Hi everyone, it's been a while since I made a real YouTube video. So, hey guys, it's Jazzy A 2026. I really want to start back. I know I keep saying this every single time I get on YouTube. I'm going to start back making content and things like that. But sometimes life hits you and you just live your life. Um, so I hope everyone's 2026 is going good so far, going well so far. Um, if not, I hope it gets better for you. I want to talk to you guys about something that just recently happened to me. And honestly, I don't feel bad about it. And I had a download a couple hours ago about it. And now I feel even better about it. However, I will be accountable in some decisions I made regarding this thing that just happened to me. However, I am. I just feel better about it. So, a couple days ago, I was on TikTok, and I just so happened to be scrolling. I was getting ready to go to bed because I only had 4 hours of sleep. A lot of stuff's been going on regarding my family and stuff like that. Um, and I came across a live, and one of my mutuals was on this live, and it was a male, because I don't even want to call him a man, because clearly he wasn't one, and a bunch of pookies on this live, including two women who were on this live, and I'll get into the women in a second. Um, the prompt was something about social media and black relationships, black love. That's totally irrelevant because when I clicked into the live, they were debating about the word empathy. Now, the panel was saying that in order to experience empathy, you have to actually be able to relate to the person that's going through whatever it is that they're going through, meaning you have to have experienced it as well. So for example, if you talk to somebody and their parent passed away from cancer, the only way you can have empathy for them is that you also have to have had a parent or somebody pass away from cancer. And otherwise, it's not empathy. You cannot have empathy for the person, right? Whereas my mutual was saying that's not, basically what they're saying is, in order to experience empathy, you not only have to put yourself into a person's shoes, you have to be able to fit the shoes. That's basically what they were saying. And my mutual was saying that's not always the case. You are able to feel empathy even if you didn't experience said thing. So for example, say there's a lot of school pew-pewings going on. And you may not have been a part of one. You may not have experienced a school pew-pewing. But you are able to put yourself in the parent's shoes, other kids' shoes, and you kind of can tap into how they felt doing the school pew-pewings. Therefore, you're showing empathy. So what my mutual was saying is you have to imaginally put yourself in somebody's shoes and tap in, and then you feel empathy. Now here was my thing. I'm listening to both sides. They're both kind of saying the same thing. It's just that one side is taking it literally, while the other side is more mentally and spiritually based, right? And again, it's totally irrelevant because it went from that to my mutual being disrespected, they called her all type of B's, 304s, stupid, all this other type of stuff, yelling at her, the aggression that these men and the host and the women had on this panel made me go, what is going on? Now, where I come from, we don't allow shit like that. Even the men in my family, we don't allow shit like that. We don't advocate for bullying or disrespect of anybody else. It's just something that we don't do. Now, granted, my mutual held her own. However, I couldn't let it slide because it was just ridiculous. And I was in the comments trying to explain to them that what she was trying to say, and kind of saying at the same time, y'all saying the same point. Y'all making the same point. Hold on for just a second. I just gotta charge. I just gotta get my charger. Okay, I'm back. I just had to get my phone charger. I've been out all day. But what was I saying? Oh, I was saying how, like, trying to explain what my mutual was saying, because she's absolutely right. And I not only studied mental health, I worked in mental health, and I worked with professionals. And I remember being in class and I thought I knew what empathy meant, and my professor had to set me straight, saying, no, that's not, you're talking about sympathy. Sympathy is more, I don't like sympathy. Sympathy to me feels fake as hell. It's more like a, I feel sorry for you, I feel bad for you, but I ain't got to go through it type thing. I don't like sympathy. Sympathy to me is fake. Whereas empathy is, I can actually understand and I can actually tap into how you feel type thing, right? The ignorance on this panel. Now, I don't really care about what misogynistic red pill men have to say. I'm kind of over that tip, but keep it in mind because it has something to do with my revelation. Only because when you have, even for other men, when you have somebody who is, they've been to therapy and they're working on their healing, and you come across fools like them, like those type of dudes, it's like, you can't argue or reason with foolishness. Even other grown men who understand emotional regulation and have an emotional intelligence and things like that, it's like, you can't reason with dudes like that. So there's really no point to even argue with them. My main concern was the women on the panel, because, and then also I feel like as a man, I can't hold. As a woman, I can't hold another man accountable. I can hold a man accountable, but it's really not a woman's job to do that. It's more so of a man's job to check other men. It's not really a woman's job to do that, and that's the problem. So as a grown ass man, if you understand, then I'm gonna let you hold these red pillars accountable, these hoteps accountable, because that's not really a woman's job. However, I will check the fuck out of a woman. I am going to check a woman. Okay? Because I am a woman. Now, I went on this chick's, because I'm even being more respectful right now, because I could be calling her a B word. And I did call her a B word on the panel, but I'm being respectful now. I went on this lady's page, TikTok page. And her content told me everything I needed to know about her. And to me, she gave me male identified vibes. So I called her a pick-me. Out of all the stuff I said in the comments, that pick-me term really bothered her. It really made her fluster, which means I struck a nerve. So she's like, Jazzy, get up on this panel. Jazzy, get up on this panel. What you mean I'm a pick-me? And then that's when the host was like, get up on the panel. He didn't even want me on the, I mean, there were points where he was like, get up on the panel. But he didn't really want me on the panel until she said, get on the panel. And she sent the invite, not the man. The man wanted me to request to get on the panel. Whereas this woman, this girl, because she was acting like a little girl and she's probably older than me, she sent me an invite. Now I will be accountable and saying maybe I shouldn't have clicked on that invite, but to be honest, I was on demon time and I wanted to have a little fun. Now I accept the request, and of course, it's the back and forth. I'm thinking we're about to debate about the word empathy at some point. But she really was stuck on this pick-me term. She was really stuck on this pick-me thing. And I told her, I said, your content gave me pick-me vibes. the one thing that I noticed is that she puts down women who wear makeup and who likes to, get their hair done, and they wear weaves and wigs, and they get their nails done, and she, praises the quote unquote plain Janes, which is weird because she herself wasn't a plain Jane. That's the thing. Like, she doesn't fit the stereotype. And as a woman, I feel like if you are into that stuff, like hair, makeup, and stuff like that, you should not be putting down women who want to be natural, whether they wear the natural hair or they don't like to do their nails. They like to dress more conservatively. We should not be putting down women who live their lives that way and dress that way and do their hair that way, because either way you look at it, it's still pick me vibes. You're just being the pick me for maybe women, I don't know. But at the same time, if you are that woman who's natural and this and that, you shouldn't be putting down women who are not, because that's how they want to look. That's also giving pick me vibes. And I feel like as women, we need to stick together, because we are part of a major marginalized group. Okay? Especially during this administration. Alright? That is the last thing we need to be doing. But I do feel like as women, we need to hold each other accountable and check each other. Okay? So, especially us black women. Okay? Now, I did attack her character. I didn't come for how she looked. Because frankly, this girl, she works out in the gym and her body is nice. Her body's nice. And her hair is nice. She can rock a pixie cut. You know what I'm saying? She looks like a beautiful girl. So I'm not going to be that petty and stoop that low. But I am going to come for your character. Let me tell you what not even this woman did. Somebody on the panel, it could have been the host. I really wasn't sure, but I know it was a man who did it. They went on my page. I did a video. Actually, I posted pictures. And it was a trend last month before New Year's. It said it's December and you're not 17 anymore. And what you do is you post a picture of yourself at 17 and then you post a picture of yourself now. Okay? I posted a picture of myself at 17. And then I posted a picture of myself of how I look now, today. They took the picture of me at 17, screenshotted it, and attempted to roast me for it. First of all, that's weird. It's definitely giving, for one, a little bit Geppetto vibes. That's kind of weird, first of all. Second of all, that kind of tells me that these grown adults, they basically bullied a teenager. A 17-year-old me. Teenager. Y'all will stoop that low to bully kids. And when you think about it, it just makes me think of the Rizzy situation. And I'm still a little fuzzy on the Rizzy situation, but if y'all don't know, she was a young woman who, she unalived herself. She strange fruited herself on TikTok live after basically 3 individuals, I'm not going to name them in this video, but they pushed her into doing it. Okay, they were in her comments saying, just do it already. What are you waiting for? Just do it already. And these grown adults, if you want to call them adults, attempted to do that with me. Now, the thing about people, this is where my revelation comes in. Because one thing I kept saying on a live, for one, I was talking over them. So honestly, when they posted the picture, the screenshot, and attempted to roast me, I don't know what they said. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea what they said, but I could probably tell you what they said. I could probably guess what they were saying while I was over talking them. Look at that big ass forehead. Oh my God. She got a 5 head, big ass cranium. Oh my god, look at her brows. She don't even have ends on her brows. Where's your makeup? Oh my god, is that acne? Oh my god, look at that. Look at that. Why is she looking down on that picture like that? Why she's scared to look at the camera? Oh my god. I know that's what they said. And here's the thing. You can't insult somebody when they're comfortable with themselves. I could tell you that I have a big ass forehead. I show it proudly because I love my forehead. Now, people with small foreheads don't take offense to what I'm about to say, but I don't want my eyebrows touching my hairline. That's not normal. I'm just playing. Love your little forehead. But what I'm saying is that I know I have a big forehead. I know I got a big head. I know my eyebrows are different from everybody else's. Actually, my eyebrows have grown since then, to be honest, to where I don't even need to draw them. I draw them by choice now. And back then I didn't. And then acne, I was a freaking teenager. Actually in the picture, I had just turned 17. That was in 2013. And I don't even look like that anymore. Another thing that they could have said, look at that fat ass face. She must have been overweight. I wasn't. I was 130. I'm actually trying to get back to 130. And that was baby fat. Okay? It fell off. Like, what? Between the ages of 18 and 23? Like, come on, people. And I kept saying, y'all got to come better than that. I've already heard the jokes. The family used to pick on me about that. Which is odd, because all of us got big foreheads in my family. Okay? And you can't insult somebody when they're comfortable. There are days when I walk out my house and I look like this. And then there's days when I walk out my house and I got a hoodie on and I ain't got no makeup on and I didn't draw my eyebrows, because who gives a shit? I look good regardless. Period. And the thing is back then I had the lowest self-esteem back then. And when I look back at my pictures when I was a teenager, I actually didn't look that bad. So, honestly, again, I can't tell you what they actually said about the picture because I didn't hear what they said about the picture. I was over talking them. It was almost like Spirit was telling me, we're not going to accept the energy. But I know what they said. But I can guess what they said because I've heard it 1,000 times ever since I was a little girl. And another thing, it's actually kind of irrelevant to the point, but there was another pick-me on the panel, and she was very calm, because everybody on the panel was aggressive and yelling. I just didn't understand the aggression, and one thing I kept saying, because I'm not going to lie, I did troll them, because I'm like, why are you guys so aggressive? Why are y'all letting me get to you? When you have high vibrational energy, when you come across miserable people who are operating at a low level, it's almost like, you know how like when you're sleeping and then let's say you have to wake up and use the bathroom and you avoid turning on the lights because if you turn the lights on, it feels like your eyes are on fire, like your eyes are burning, like, man, I was trying to avoid the light. That's what it feels like when you are a beam of light and you enter a room full of miserable people. They hate it. It's almost like repellent. Okay? It's almost like repellent. It reminds me of Bratz Fashion Pixies. If you remember that movie as being a child watching that movie, there's a scene in the movie where the movie is about a bunch of fairies. You got the light fairies and the dark fairies, and then if you put the glasses on, you know what I'm talking about. If you put the glasses on, you can see people for who they really are. So one of the fairies, the light fairies, had this little like device, and she did this. And it caused light. And the dark pixies, the dark fairies were like, the light, the light, the light. I can't see. Think of it like that, right? That's the shit I used to watch as a kid. Oh my god, it's for a reason. So eventually, this one pick me, she was coming at me, and my thing with her is I got snappy with her. I really wasn't snappy even with the one I was arguing with. I was snappy with her because she was like, "Oh well, you're saying the panel is aggressive, but I'm not aggressive. I'm talking to you normal." And you know those people that like they talk calm, but you can tell that they're like an asshole. It's like they're a nice asshole. You know, it's like they come off very condescending. Yeah, okay. Talking in a calm tone does not make you a nice person. It doesn't make you a good person. Okay, let's just get that straight. It's a manipulation tactic. Okay, it's kind of gaslighting. All right. I did get snappy with her because I knew she wasn't being aggressive. She was sticking her nose into something that had nothing to do with her. My issue was with this other woman who took an issue with me calling her a pick me. That was the issue. She's the only one I wanted to address on the panel. Everybody else on the panel was totally irrelevant. And eventually I got, even though they kept muting me, I stated my piece. And my whole thing was like, why did you let me and my mutual get to you? So I'm not gonna lie, I was being kind of petty. Actually, really petty. I was on villain time. And eventually they kicked me off the live. And then they lied and said I requested to go up when that wasn't the case. You sent the request for me to go up. And then another one of my mutuals came on and you know, attempted to have my back, and they attacked him. And then before I got on the panel, there was a man on the panel, and he basically was like, "Why are you guys being so aggressive? Like, what's up?" And he attempted to answer the prompt, but they kept making fun of him, and then they started going back and forth. So it's just a live full of terrible, miserable people. And I will be accountable and say that I shouldn't have been on the live. I shouldn't even have commented in the live. I should have just screenshotted the people and blocked them. That's what I should have did. But let me tell you where my revelation comes in. And this is where I feel like I did teenage Jasmine justice. Because my teenage years were some of the darkest years of my life. This year marks 15 years since I tried to self-unalive. I have not tried in 15 years. I will be 30 this year. And all Jasmine wanted was teenage Jazz from age, not even teenage Jazz, I would say childhood Jazz. Ever since age 11 up to age 27. From 11 to 27, all she wanted was to be validated. But instead of validating herself, she didn't want the validation from her family because her family is a part of her. And her family, to be honest, she was ashamed of her family. She was ashamed of her family. And she wanted validation outside of herself. When I was a teenager, teenage Jasmine wanted a boyfriend. But she wanted a boyfriend for validational purposes. Once upon a time, I used to be male identified. Okay? I was just like everybody else. I shamed women. I shamed girls. I was the one that was like, I don't hang out with females. I used to use the term females. I don't hang out with other females. I hang out with guys because it's less drama. And a part of me was insecure. Very insecure. I wanted a boyfriend to tell me I was pretty. I was beautiful. I was special. I was quirky. I was smart. Everything that I embrace myself as today. But then at the same time, when I did meet guys and they would tell me those things, I shot them down because I had low self-esteem. And it was like, you lying to me. I don't believe you. But the only reason why I didn't believe them was because I didn't see that in myself. And let me tell you what happened to me at 27. At 27, I wanted to try pink hair. And I did. And I never will again. I think pink hair looks great on everyone else. The only way I'll do pink hair is it would have to be like an ombre or something like that, because pink does not work for me. Now, I wore pink hair. Everybody loved my pink hair. When I went to the store, my friends, they loved my pink hair. But guess who didn't? I hated it. And what I realized is that, you know what? The only validation that I will accept is my own validation. I don't need to seek. First of all, I've never really seeked it, to be honest, because I will always deny it. So I never really seeked validation from anybody, because it depends on how I feel about something. If I don't feel connected to something, if I don't feel good about something, if I don't feel adequate, it wouldn't matter what the next person said. Because if I don't feel it, nothing you say is going to change my mind. When I feel good about myself, like if I look good right now, which I do look good right now, and I get validation and get the compliments, it makes me feel better because I know I look good. And the validation just proves my point. I don't know if that's narcissistic. I don't know what that is. But what I do know is that the only validation that matters is my own. And I don't need to search outside of myself to get that. And when I was on that live, I felt like I did my teenage self a service. Because that's all she wanted, was to feel validated, to feel like she was beautiful. And I had to have someone defend her. And I did just that at the end of the day. Despite what anybody has to say. And it's crazy because one of the last things I said last year is I said, I feel like my next soul searching, next part of my soul spiritual journey is to appreciate my younger self more, starting by how I looked as a child and as a teenager, how I was. Like right now, I express my personality outwardly. I don't care who don't like it. I don't care. I mean, well, I do care who does like it, but I don't care. You like it or you don't like it. I don't care. I don't like you, Jet. Okay. Then don't be around me. Like I kept saying on the live. Then kick me off. If I'm this person, if I'm this troll, if I'm so stupid, kick me off the live. Because I'm going to be here. My middle name is Aisha. It means alive, which means my presence will be felt always. It don't matter what you do. I'm still going to be here. That's a you problem. That don't got nothing to do with me. Because it used to be a time where when it came to these dudes that I used to... Man, I used to troll the mess out of them. Even right here on YouTube, I used to do that. Hop on panels because dudes will be so ignorant. And I unlocked a childhood memory, actually. I was in the 3rd grade. There was this boy. He's in jail. He's in prison now. But he might be getting out this year now that I think about it. But anyway, he was kind of like, I don't want to say he was my bully per se, but he did pick on me. If I got picked on in school, it wasn't by girls. It was by boys. And usually it was because they liked me. It was that weird, pulling on your ponytail. Not that they did me like that, but it's the whole, like, I pick on you because I like you type stuff, right? Very, very toxic. Now, in 2nd grade, we were friends. We talked about video games. He was a fan of Sonic. I was a fan of Sonic. And then I don't know what happened. 3rd grade happened, and he went from being my friend to being mean to me. Like, I don't even know. And there was one time we will have life skills. were a I don't know if she was a life coach or a teacher. I'm not really sure. Could have been both. But she taught us mental health skills in school. Third grade. And we had to write down 3 occupations. So I wrote down actress, teacher, rapper. Yes, rapper. I wanted to be a female rapper. Okay. And we had to share notes. And he was in my group. And he was impressed. Mind you, we're in 3rd grade. So he was impressed that, wow, you want to rap? You like rap music? What? So then the friendship started again. But then what happened was the same day, he wanted me to sit with him and his friends. Mind you, it's a bunch of boys, right? Mind you, it's a bunch of boys. And I was like super quiet. Like, I was the kid that didn't talk. I was the kid that didn't cuss. I was the kid who didn't raise her hand in class to participate. Nothing. And my teacher, she used to complain about that. Anyway, he wanted me to sit in this group. I'm just see where my okay. He wanted me to sit in this group, and my friend was like, "Don't sit with him. Like, why are you sitting with him?" And I did not want to sit with him. And he told me to call her a bitch. I remember that. He told me, "That's your friend?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Call her a bitch." Mind you, we're in 3rd grade. I wish I could make this shit up. He said, "Call her a bitch." And I said, no. For one, I didn't cuss. And 2, that's my friend. And 3, I'm not calling another girl the B word. And you know what he did? You know what him and his friends did? They dogpiled me. Called me all type of B's. 304s. Called me stupid. And they kicked me out of their table. I remember that. And I was so angry. I remember I cried, but not because my feelings were hurt. I cried because I wanted to beat their asses. I'm that type of person. If I start crying when I'm mad, that's a warning. Like, okay, Jazz might actually attack. We might want to back up. There was another incident that happened when I was in school involving a boy where I had a Powerpuff Girls eraser, and he used to pick on me, and he took my eraser, he tore it by biting it, and he ripped it with his teeth. And I remember I threw the biggest tantrum, and surprisingly, nobody did anything about that. No teacher did anything about that. I didn't get in trouble for it. He got in trouble, but I didn't get in trouble. Like, I would have thought I would have got sent to the office, but I didn't. I remember I threw the biggest tantrum, and I opened my desk like this, and I put my head in it, and I was just screaming. I was screaming. It reminded me of how I used to act going to preschool. Because I didn't like I didn't like being away from my mom. I had like the separation anxiety thing going on. So I did that, and that was 1st grade. So looking back, when it came down to boys, even though I was a tomboy and everything else, and I got along with boys, but because I would come across dudes like boys like that, it's like anytime when I see the misogyny and the name calling and all that, it triggers me because it brings me back to how they treated me when I was a child. But I kind of got over that because it's like, okay, when it comes to these dudes, like, it is what it is. Like they just ignorant. These are grown ass men who are old enough to be my daddy, old enough to be my grandfather, and they still act like those little boys back in elementary school. People grow up, but they don't mature. But for me, it's the women, because it's like, are you serious? And it's just, but I felt like I did my younger me a service this year. It was a great way to start the year off. I wish I didn't have to do it that way, but the fact that they did that, and I'm just like, you can't insult somebody who's comfortable. And it just made me feel good about myself, like especially as a teenager. And again, that's how you know when you love yourself. When you feel comfortable with yourself, when you change your perception. Like, if this was me Damn, it's 2026 now. If this was me 8 years ago, because 2018 me, oh my god. Oh my god. I was so ruthless when it came to these dudes. Okay? When it came to people in general. And I was unforgivable. Okay? Didn't apologize for nothing. Alright? If your car just stupid, I didn't apologize for it. It is what it is. But if that live would have took place back then, not only would I have hopped, I would have just requested to be on the panel, and I would have cussed everybody out. I would have been mad about it. I would have been angry about it, because back then I saw everything as half empty and not half full. When you change your perception on life, and you start looking at everything as half full, you can try to hurt me, my feelings, but you're not going to get that far. And that's why they were mad on that panel. They eventually ended up shutting the live down, because I'm not sure it was because some people were reporting it or TikTok was reporting it, but I basically trolled them off the live. Like I was one of the last people on the live. So but at the end of the day, when you look at yourself as, like I said, you see everything is half full, and it's like you have your down days, but you know how to rationalize it. It used to be a time where I got angry at little things and I would want to quit. Like, I recently just found out I'm an avoidant. I am a anxious avoidant. When things get rough and there's a lot going on, I tend to want to run. I think that's why I wanted to unalive myself back when I was a teenager, because I looked at it as a way out. Not necessarily like I was looking for attention or anything like that. I wanted a way out. And what I do now is I rationalize it, and I have to see it as, you know what? It's a shift happening. That's why everything seems like it's going wrong, but it's really not. Everything is falling right into place, and things happen for a reason. And I don't really get it. I'll be upset for a split second, and then that thought will cross my mind, and then I'm okay again. I'm happy again. I know how to deal with it. So again, you cannot insult somebody who looks at the world as the glass is half full. Who's comfortable, who understands that, when things happen, it's not a bad thing. It's a shift. We have to learn, like my mom recently told me, we all have to go through our lessons. And it's true. And it's kind of hard that when you're starting off, and you kind of look things at a certain way because of how you grew up, then it's like, okay, like you may look at it like, I'm tired of learning the same, but all you gotta do is look in the mirror and deal with yourself. And once you look in the mirror and you're cool with your flaws, you're not scared of your flaws, you're not scared of your imperfections, you're not scared of looking at yourself in the mirror, the scratches, all that stuff. If you're not scared, if you conquer your fear of looking in the damn mirror, you ain't scared of shit at that point. You can't. They can't harm you because you cool with yourself. And it took me nearly 30 years to figure this out. Just like I learned that there's a difference between being good looking and being attractive. They're two different things, and I need for people to understand that, and I'll make a whole nother video talking about that. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because last year, a lot happened last year. I lost a friend last year. The job situation has been crazy, and I feel good. This life happened. I feel good because everything happens for a reason, and I have to know that there's a shift happening, and it's certain things, certain emotions, certain people, certain things, places, objects you cannot take with you because they're not good for you, or time has run its course, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. And I feel like the next part of my soul searching journey is to appreciate and heal my inner child by appreciating my childhood and teenage self. And that's all I wanted to share with you guys. I promise. Well, I don't know. Let me not do that. I'm going to attempt to make more content on here. I make a bunch of content on my TikTok, but I really want to do more content on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and comment. Maybe something I said resonated. Hopefully it did. I know my video could probably be all over the place, but just know that I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything. I'm not even sure if I know what I know. I'm just here and I'm just talking. So if anything I said resonated with you, I hope that you apply it and maybe you can see life more positively instead of negatively. And I want to go ahead and post this video now, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. Love you. Bye.